before you called, and then I have to get ready for an appointment. So I'm just going to get right into it. The last time we spoke, or the last time I read, it was in reference to John Kennedy Jr. just failing at everything that he does, and how Carolyn has really called him out at the beginning. Day one, when I started this 3 days ago, you can catch up on the readings. Okay. Hey, Trev. Okay, I've got to put you down. I don't have a tripod. When he did finally pass, his mother having arranged special circumstances for his third test, and the esteemed Manhattan District Attorney, Robert Morgadahow, arranging a plum position for him. John's new colleagues were unimpressed. John would take his lunch hour shirtless in the park playing football. His face case. Oh, sorry, his face case. His first case was prosecuting a robber who had fallen asleep while committing the act and was awakened by the cops. JFK Jr. himbo. He was painfully aware of his reputation, but he didn't seem to realize how his narcissism played into it. George, for those of you who are around that read the magazine George, meant to append that image, was instead a failure on three fronts: commercially, critically, and as an intended triumph of public relations, one meant to give JFK Jr. the gravities for a run for governor of New York or U.S. Senate, the most respectable publication the age had. Within months of George's launch, put John on their cover, chin testing, one hand, brow furrowed as if in serious contemplation. The headline: What will he think of next? What will you think of next? Wasn't that a series back in the day? The piece that ran in Spy magazine mocked his professional failures, beginning with his first business idea, an attempt to sell handmade kayaks that would somehow be mass produced. That was followed. Oh, John, such a privileged little boy, and he knows not what's going on. By an all thought out rent a dog scheme inspired by the people who stopped John all the time when he was walking his own dog, surely there would be a market, right? It took Matt Berman, his business partner, to explain. John, he said, this is probably not uh, stopping you because of your dog. John had to concede. Matt had a point. It was on the next idea, one far more glamorous, high profile than unexpected, a magazine. How hard, he asked, could it be? John and Matt enrolled in a 2-day course called How to Start Your Own Magazine. Okay. And despite their teachers' warnings, most startups fail, and magazines about religion and politics are surefire losers. John decided to become the founder and editor in chief of a magazine that would mix politics and pop culture. How was what? How was unclear? But no one, not his mother, not his longtime friend, Jan Wenner, the founder and edition in chief of Rolling Stone, and certainly not Carolyn, could talk him out of it. Well, I don't know. At the mother's request, her friend, Joe Armstrong, a former ABC News executive and magazine publisher, tried to offer John advice. Go slow, Joe said. Keep your plans to yourself. Learn the answer to every possible question you can get in a pitch meeting. John sailed into those meetings without due diligence and wait, without diligence and met headed winds he'd never experienced or expected. One executive couldn't believe John's gall in asking for a $20 million investment without being able to answer the most basic stuff, such as who was the magazine's audience? What was the brand identity? Who would John hire to write? What stories would the magazine break? Who would make ideal profile subjects? Why would their as yet unnamed magazine be successful when politics, by definition, were small and lucky to break even? How would they attracted advertisers once? Let's face it, the novelty of being an associate or being associated with John F. K. wore off. Carolyn knew all too well about that novelty wearing off. John was like Seinfeld's bubble boy, so coddled and spoiled that he didn't know what he sounded like to others. He could be prickly and impatient and something of a brat. John didn't live in the real world. He never had. He lived on planet Kennedy. Okay. Which is interesting because if you go to old footage and you look up Oprah Winfrey's interview with John F. K., that is not the John F. K. that she damn well knew was. Telling you, until this last generation, mainstream media was lying to us baby boomers. Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I have to get ready for an appointment. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and have a great day.